This, close to 4,000 years old. Why is it not sinking? Foundation repair is how much, on average how much, and then like how bad can it get? We're on our way to meet Alpha Structural, one of the best and biggest foundation repair companies in Los Angeles, and we're gonna talk about foundations. Do you see any trends as to who's calling you the most with issues?
Most of the inspections we do, like I said, 1920s to 1950s. Those are the typical types of homes that may have issues, and just in general in LA County, there's just more of them.
What is it about homes built in the 1920s that you think is bringing up some of these issues?
Well, one, you have age. You have the type of concrete that they put in back then. It was kind of a low mix. There's no steel reinforcement inside of those.
And when we say steel reinforcement, is that what they call rebar, just like this metal piece going through the concrete?
You got it. Mm-hmm.
And that's what, to kind of hold it intact? Or?
Yeah, so it gives the concrete flexibility. We call it tensile strength. So when you have steel spaced correctly inside of a precast concrete pour, the concrete isn't as brittle. So it can withstand some movement and shifting without completely cracking, fracturing, rotating.
What do you think is one of the big differences of how they built foundations in the 1920s to what you see today?
Well, the biggest difference, honestly, aside from the steel placement inside of it, just let's say we got a single family home that's just a box, right, in a flat lot. The biggest difference is the thickness of the wall and the foundation depth. Okay. Most of these problems stem from a very shallow early 1900s foundation that could be as little as 4 to 6 inches into the ground, below ground level.
So generally, the newer the house, better building codes, it could be assumed, and maybe possibly less risk on foundation issues?
Absolutely. We don't get a ton of calls from foundation related issues from the 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s, mainly on flat lots. Now, hillside homes, completely different ball game. It could be a 1980s house that is settling down the hill. But most flat lot conditions, our repairs are, 50s, 40s, 30s, 20s. This is the palace. This is where all the magic happens.
Have you guys thought about filming an episode of like The Office? I feel like the cubicles are like...
we definitely have some characters in here that we could put on there.
I have some pictures I want to show you. This, you recognize this.
The pyramids.
I went to go see a house the other day from like the 1950s with a client. The whole thing is like slanting.
Yeah, that's a common occurrence in LA.
And this is like, couple decades old.
Yeah.
This thing is like close to 4,000 years old.
Amazing.
And it's not sinking.
Geology.
Why is it not sinking? And they were saying they built it on bedrock.
Well, it would make a lot of sense that a 4,000-year-old structure hasn't moved because it's on bedrock. So in our industry, bedrock is kind of like the, overall geological condition that is the best foundational support to construct anything on. Most single-family homes that are flat, 1-story, 2-story, not built on a hillside, generally, depending on where you are, most of LA County is not going to have bedrock to that depth. So most homes are not built into bedrock. They are built into just a minimum required depth into just native suitable soil.
By the way, my name is Daniel RANGEL, real estate agent on the west side of Los Angeles. If I can be of any help, it would be an honor. And for a free consultation on buying or selling, you can find my information in the description below. And to reach out to Alpha Structural, by the way, they're amazing. You can also find their information in the description below.
On the low end, foundation repair is how much, on average how much, and then like how bad can it get when it comes to repairs?
Yeah, it's a good question. A lot of that obviously depends on the size of the home. The smallest thing you could do is what we call a crack repair. You have a crack in your foundation and you add some straps to it and you put some epoxy in the crack and it's kind of like putting a Band-Aid on a wound, right? That's probably the low end of what you do. You know, you're talking about $2,000 or something like that.
Okay.
Middle end, you know, average cost for repairs, you're usually not gutting the whole foundation and putting a new one in unless it's bad. So there's a lot of different things we do, but you know, a decent size foundation repair could range from $20,000 to $50,000. If you're replacing an entire foundation, depending on the size of it, you know, these things get into the six figures, and they're generally somewhere around $100,000 to $200,000 to replace an average home in Los Angeles County.
And this is no offense to you and your industry and the valuable service that you guys provide, but unfortunately, a buyer buys a house, later finds out that they have foundation issues, and let's say it's a $100,000 repair.
Yeah.
If they do that repair, I'm sorry, it's not adding any value to their house. Like, no buyer comes in when they try to sell it and they're like, holy moly, that is the most beautiful foundation I've ever seen. Like, I will pay you $100,000 more.
Yeah.
As opposed to if you invest $100,000 in the kitchen, you're seeing a return on that. And the reason I bring that up, it goes to show like how important it is for people to hire you guys before they make a purchase, because if it later turns out to be a foundation issue, there's not much of a return on that. So to that point, you guys do foundation inspections for home buyers, right?
Correct, and sellers.
And sellers. How much is it for a home buyer? Foundation inspection?
Prices range based on square footage, but just a general homeowner inspection for a regular single family lot is typically $500. And not all homes need a structure repair. There's a lot of agents who just generally jump to it because they understand the industry and they know what to look for, and they're hiring a structural guy no matter what. A lot of times we go into these inspections and it's just a really good home. It could be a 1990s home, it could be a 1920s home, but it all checks out.
The way we used houses built in the 1920s and the way we use them today is different.
Right.
Now we have big islands, we have massive refrigerators, bunch of appliances. Do you ever run into issues where people remodel their house from the 1920s, put a whole bunch of weight that might have not been used back then, and now they have
issues?
Is that?
Yeah, that's a great question that usually nobody asks, but it's a huge problem sometimes. Well, a lot of people too will gut the entire house, fully finish it. It looks like a brand new 2025 new construction. You get under there and there's a 100-year-old foundation on it, right? So yes, those frames and the beams and the posts and the floor joists were not designed to have additional loading on it. They were barely designed for load paths that were existing. So if you slap an island that weighs several hundred pounds in the middle of a floor that has no beam or nothing underneath it, you will definitely start to see some compression or some deflection of that floor over time. A lot of people will want to open up kitchen walls too and have big open floor plans. When in the 20s, a lot of those homes were built with tiny kitchens, dining rooms, everything was separate. So when you remove all of those load-bearing elements that are supporting the walls above or the stories above, they definitely need to be engineered and taken into account. How are you going to support the floors above, or even if it's just a roof and then all the way down to the foundation? Everything has to translate from the top all the way down to the footings.
Natural settlement of the foundation. When is it natural and when is it not? When is it acceptable? When is it not to like see some cracks or settling?
Yeah, so cracks are, you're generally always going to see cracks in a foundation, especially older ones. We have thresholds that we kind of look for. So the first thing we do when we inspect the foundation is we are actually going into the house. So I want to observe how the floor system is performing. And if it's, significant settlement, you'll see it in the floors. Generally, a rule of thumb is 1 inch of settlement in 20 feet is structurally allowable. And that's considered pretty common, pretty normal. When we start to exceed 2 inches, 3 inches, 4 inches, up to 10 inches, anything beyond 2 inches, we have to start questioning the soil. What type of soil do you have underneath here, and why has this moved more than the allowable settlement?
How do you guys fix that? Do you just lift the house up?
Yeah, we do. We lift it up.
Literally just
We will take
pick
it.
you up.
That's right. It sounds a little easier said than done, but yeah, we're picking that thing up.
Like similar to with like a jack or
Yeah,
something?
yeah. You use heavy 50-ton, 20-ton hydraulic jacks that are down there.
Did you just like wake up one day and you were like, man, I want to be a foundation person?
Well, oddly enough, I was in a different industry about 10 years ago, and I knew some friends who worked in the industry, who worked at this specific office, and I was looking for a new career path, something that was a little more stable, and it was a really cool company. I saw what they did. I saw how they helped people. They fixed homes, some pretty gnarly stuff. So I did a few tours here, and they gave me an opportunity.
By the way, my name is Daniel Rangel, real estate agent on the west side of Los Angeles. If I can be of any help, it would be an honor. And for a free consultation on buying or selling, you can find my information in the description below. And to reach out to Alpha Structural, by the way, they're amazing. You can also find their information in the description below. But either way, thanks a bunch for watching and have an awesome day.